You know what they say, the party is in the airport. Well, they don't really say that, but when you travel as much as I do, that's just what you go by. How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and I've got the HTC EVO 4G LTE, thanks to an HTC event last night at CTIA. Hey, we're in the airport, but let's do an unboxing. Let's check it out. So here it is. We've seen the One X, the One S, now the HTC EVO 4G LTE. This is a variant of the HTC One series coming to Sprint soon for $199.99, and we've got the review unit in the house. So special thanks to HTC for hooking us up with a review unit. Also special thanks to Best Buy Mobile for hooking us up with phones like this for use in our One Paw Bandit game. So when you go into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working with your EVO 4G LTE. They'll help you set up your email, your web, your contacts, your settings, everything. So when you walk out the door, you're good to go with your new device. Let's take a look at this. So EVO 4G LTE in the box. You get your phone charger, your get started guides in English and Spanish, wireless recycling. Also special thanks to Southwest for letting me bum their seats, considering I'm not even flying on Southwest. This is it's really nice of them. So thanks, guys. Thanks for being part of this unboxing. But let's take a look here and see what comes in the box. And obviously, I'm going to be honest with you here. This isn't a full unboxing because HTC gave us these gave these to us last night at a media event, and we were taking pictures in New Orleans all last night. So I've actually had the device on and been using it for about I'd say about 18 hours. And you know, as a result, I've gotten a little bit of an idea of battery life and more. Excuse me. So you can see here the EVO 4G LTE out of the box, already turned on. So it's packing some similar specs to the One X. It's got a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon S4 processor. That same 4.7-inch display, though you'll notice this one, instead of being curved like the HTC One X, is more of a flat industrial design. So this may appeal to you more, or you may like the One X. You may want to take a look at both of those in the store before you make your decision. But you'll see some design differences also on the back. You'll see that typical black and red color scheme that kind of defines the EVO brand. On the Sprint side, you've got a Sprint logo, your HTC logo, a 2,000 milliamp hour battery in this, so 200 milliamp hours bigger than the HTC One X, which is really nice. Probably my favorite feature about this phone is the battery. 2,000 milliamps is nice to have. So an 8 megapixel camera on the back with 1080p HD video recording. You can see this two-toned color scheme here. You've got a kickstand right here. Let's see if I can go ahead and pull it out with one hand for you, so you can see what it looks like. Kickstand there, and you've got a couple of other goodies over here on the side. I'm activating the menu and doing all kinds of crazy stuff here. Your micro USB charging port on the left side. You've got your volume rocker on the right side. Your power button up top with a 3.5mm headphone jack. And like I said, a little bit of a different design here. More industrial. It's got some metal sides. And you've got your typical 3 buttons down there at the bottom. Your back button, your home button, and then your recent apps button as well. Front-facing camera and Android 4.0 with ice cream sandwich, that is, with HTC Sense version 4. So out of the box, let's take a look at what you get in the unit here. You get some instruction manuals as well. Get started. I'm not even going to try to open this up with one hand. Then you get your USB cable as well, an AC adapter module. All of these in HTC's cornstarch bags, which are eco-friendly, and that's nice. And also the box, important note, according to the top of the box here. Let's take a look. This whole box is 100% recyclable, including the cornstarch bag. So nice to see HTC and Sprint taking an eco-friendly approach. Good looking device. It's very smooth. It fits well in the hand. Now obviously this is not a WiMAX device. This is an LTE device. So obviously LTE is not launched in any markets right now. Coming to 6 markets very soon. But it's one of those things you have to make a decision between this device or perhaps the Epic 4G Touch if you're in a market that already has 4G. And when I say 4G, I mean WiMAX. So you can see I was testing on a demo phone number earlier. This is the kind of text message I would send myself. I have a ham cap. How are you today? And you can see that's what the text thread looks like. But out of the box, you don't get a whole lot of Sprint stuff pre-installed. You get the typical HTC stuff, Dropbox. You get HTC Mobile Guide, Media Share, Google Plus integration, of course. And then you get Sprint Hotspot and Sprint Zone. But outside of that, and visual voicemail, of course, outside of that, Google Wallet, not a whole lot pre-installed on the Sprint side. No Sprint TV, no Sprint navigation out of the box. So you do get the typical Google stuff, play movies, play music, navigation, maps, and more. And of course, you have the same personalization options on this bad boy as well. You got your ability to change your skin, your wallpapers, your lock screen style, your shortcuts, and more. And of course, the notifications bar looks similar. So no real changes to the menu interface here, though you'll notice I'm a stickler for finding these little oddities between the various versions. You can see activate this device is a little bit different from the HTC One X and the HTC One S on AT&T and T-Mobile. But you know, menu structure looks pretty identical there with the typical kind of pattern there. When you get to the top, it has a nice animation that shows you. But all in all, very responsive, very zippy. I did a speed test last night and got 4,950. So very impressed with that. Typical carousel effects here and 7 home screens on this bad boy also. So all in all, pretty decent device. And you can see the typical layout here. Let's take a look at the internet. Now obviously Sprint's 3G speeds have been kind of a point of contention lately because their 3G has been absolutely terrible in a lot of markets. And I've noticed this in New Orleans as well. I almost said Los Angeles. I'm clearly sleep deprived. Let's take a look here. and see results. You can see they're kind of across the board. You'll notice that later at night I got some pretty decent ones, you know, 1.2 megabits per second, which is something I'd consider to be decent for EVDO. But then you look at like 0.36 megabits per second this morning and some terrible ones last night. You look at 0.08 megabits per second, 0.04. These are obviously unacceptable data speeds, and unfortunately haven't heard anything from Sprint on why they're that slow, but you know, they keep referencing network vision. I'd love to get this to work as quickly as possible, but you can see hopefully this one's going to be a little bit better. So this one's for Sprint, you know, compared to what I've seen in the past, both in New Orleans and Atlanta and Charlotte, where I'm based, obviously, this is a pretty decent speed, which is kind of sad. 0.4 megabits per second shouldn't really be a benchmark for 3G performance, but actually 0.55. And upload looks like we're going to get a little bit of a lower speed, about 0.3, let's say. Oh, no, there goes 0.64, 0.67. So, you know, more, I'd say decent speeds compared to what I've seen in the past, you know, in Charlotte and Atlanta, but still not acceptable. And you saw some of those speeds last night. Just very across the board, very odd. Sprint's data speeds really need to be worked on. And, you know, they are rolling out network vision right now, so I may have hit some cell sites that have already been updated with the network vision rollout. So it's very possible that was why they were, you know, 1.2, 1.3 megabits per second as opposed to 0.08 and 0.09. So all in all, a really nice looking device. It's a great addition to Sprint's lineup. This is Sprint's flagship 4G LTE device, at least for the first half of the year. And it's coming soon to Sprint retail stores for $199.99. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron, and on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Of course, hit us up on Google Plus as well, gplus.to/PhoneDog. And if you like this device, head over to PhoneDog.com/rankings and cast your vote in PhoneDog's official smartphone rankings. Otherwise, pretty similar here to the One X and the One S with a typical widget setup and more. We'll have more coverage on this once I get out of the airport, when I get back in the office, and get a little bit of sleep and some coffee too. Those will probably be much needed. Thanks so much for watching. Much more to come on the HTC EVO 4G LTE on PhoneDog.com.